During my checkup, I ended up inviting the doctor for a drink. I went for my checkup. As the doctor was noting down my medical history, he asked, "Do you drink alcohol?" I froze, unable to react. "Tonight?" I blurted out. His pen paused. He looked up, his eyes bright, his voice calm. "That works too." There was a free medical checkup event downstairs. My mother insisted I go because sitting too long makes my back hurt. A row of doctors sat neatly. With just a glance, I spotted one man whose handsomeness couldn't be hidden, even behind a mask. As I stood there, flustered, my mother nudged me with her foot, pushing me into his line. I had to admit, Mom's kick was perfect. She really understood her daughter's heart. Getting closer, I found him even more handsome than I'd imagined. His face was like a sculpted mountain, his eyes dark as ink. Just looking at them made my heart pound. When it was my turn, he didn't lift his head, merely asking, "Where does it hurt?" My mother quickly answered for me, "Terrible back pain." "Let me check," he said. I paused. Here." He finally looked up at me, his bright eyes curving slightly with a hint of a smile. "Ah, it's the little girl." My face burned. "I'm not little anymore." My mother urged me to hurry. So I stood up, turning my back to the gazes of those around us. I lifted my shirt. Before I could fully pull it up, a large hand stopped it. His fingers, cool and tingly, brushed the back of my hand. His voice, tinged with humor, came from behind me. "No need to pull it up." I softly replied, "Yes." His hand pressed gently through the fabric, rubbing lightly before he told me to sit down. "No swelling, just muscle fatigue, right?" he asked, writing in my chart. His long fingers moved elegantly, writing so beautifully it was captivating. Suddenly, he asked, "Do you drink alcohol?" Surprised, I instinctively replied, "Tonight?" The moment I said it, my mother's face flushed with embarrassment, while the elderly people around us burst into laughter. He put his pen down, leaned back in his chair, his bright eyes fixed on me. He nodded slightly, his deep voice saying, "That works too." I wanted to disappear, but I couldn't because I still had to think about my family. The entire neighborhood knew that the girl from the 8th floor was openly pursuing a guy, and that guy was a handsome, talented doctor, and he'd even agreed. His name was Lucius. To save face, my mother, right there, made us exchange WeChat IDs. Once I got home, I kept sending apology messages and explanations. "I won't be drinking tonight, sir. Please don't mind what happened earlier." It took a while, but he finally replied. I breathed a sigh of relief, only to receive another message right after. "So, will you have dinner with me?" Oh my God, was my spring finally here? Lucius stood in his white doctor's coat and black pants, leaning against a car. Tall and slender, with a cool aura, he looked as if he'd stepped right out of a poster. His eyes curved slightly as he saw me in the crowd, and his gentle smile made my heart race even faster. My face felt hot. I walked towards him, hesitating. "Hello, Dr. Lucius." Suddenly, a neighbor appeared, pulling along her 20-year-old daughter. "Snow going out?" I just managed a polite smile. "Yes." She pushed her daughter towards me. "Can she come along? I'm worried about her going out alone." I desperately wanted to refuse, especially seeing how intently her daughter was staring at him. Before I could react, Lucius gently pulled my sleeve, drawing me closer. The scent of antiseptic mixed with his cool, refreshing aura, making my heart flutter. He politely stated, "If you're worried, then don't let her go. We're on a date. It's not convenient, sorry, I'm taking my person." A date. He just said a date. The car drove off, but that word still echoed in my head. Heavens, wasn't it just dinner? When the car stopped at a red light, he glanced at me, making my heart race. "I have night duty tonight. Can we eat near the hospital?" His deep, gentle voice made me feel giddy. I nodded repeatedly. "Yes, of course, that's fine. If something urgent comes up, remember to take a taxi home, okay?" "No problem, I can manage myself." He smiled, teasingly but sincerely. "Auntie was right, you really are well behaved." "Auntie, who?" He chuckled. "After you left, Auntie asked the head of department for information about me. She said she was very pleased." I secretly thought, my mother truly is amazing at matchmaking. A real mother, a powerful assistant. There were many restaurants near the hospital, and he took me to a place he frequented. Plus point, delicious food. Minus point, often running into his colleagues. I ate with my head down. Someone came over to greet him, looking at me curiously. "This is," he smiled, giving me a meaningful glance, "my blind date." I nearly choked on my rice. From a dinner invitation to a date and now a blind date, what's the next level? The person chuckled, understanding. "Is it the girl from the daytime event?" Before they could finish, he nodded, his eyes sparkling, a bright smile on his face. "That's right." I was mortified. Everyone in the hospital already knew. The person wanted to chat more, but he gently excused them. I felt so ashamed, wiping my mouth and muttering, "How does everyone know?" The head of department saw that I was finally about to escape single life, so he told everyone. He paused, smiling. "You're cute, though. If you're embarrassed, I'll tell them to stop talking about it." My brain short-circuited. I only clearly heard the words, "escape single life," and "you're cute." I burst out laughing, feeling a lightness in my heart. All this embarrassment was worth it. Before we even finished our meal, both our phones rang. My mother had sent a voice message, "Mom's out playing cards, no one will open the door before midnight." His head of department also messaged him, "Emergency, return immediately." He looked at me apologetically. "Sorry, that's how it is for doctors." I quickly waved my hand. "It's okay, saving lives is more important." Then I started to worry, where do I go now? I ended up getting into the car with him and heading to the hospital. As soon as we arrived, Lucius was swamped. He only had time to send me a WeChat message. "If you like children, you can go to the kids' play area." I found the area and had a lot of fun playing with the kids. By the time Lucius came back to find me, it was nearly midnight. I was sitting on the play mat, a little sleepy, vaguely seeing him approach. A child refused to sleep, and its mother coaxed, "If you don't sleep, the doctor will give you an injection." The child cried, "I don't want a shot, I don't want a shot." Lucius stood before me, hands in the pockets of his white lab coat, his face brightly illuminated by the fluorescent lights. For some reason, I found myself repeating, "Brother, I don't want a shot either." Lucius's expression instantly changed. His eyes narrowed, his pupils dark as ink, deep with a meaningful smile. He leaned down, close to my ear, his voice a low whisper just loud enough for the two of us to hear, "Call me brother one more time and I won't search for you." His voice, husky and sensual, lightly scraped my ear. I instantly jolted awake. What do you mean?" I stared wide-eyed at Lucius. He, however, acted as if nothing happened, deliberately turning his back. His dark hair couldn't hide the tips of his ears, which were flushed pink, even more noticeable under the light. Was he embarrassed? Suddenly, I felt calm. Affection was, after all, a matter of two people exploring each other. If he wouldn't make a move, I would. I smiled, extending my hand, waiting for him to pull me up. Lucius also extended his hand, his fingers long and slender, knuckles distinct. His pull was strong. Thanks to his strength, I lost my balance and lunged straight towards him, stopping about 10 centimeters from his chest. In that precise moment, I could feel Lucius holding his breath. I looked up into his eyes and whispered, "Your hand is so soft." Lucius looked down at me, his jawline tense, his Adam's apple subtly shifting. Many unspoken scenes flashed through my mind, and I instinctively swallowed, then quickly pulled back, creating some distance. Lucius pursed his lips, watching me, his eyes slightly curved with a hint of a smile, but he said nothing. Nevertheless, his grip on my hand tightened. "Your mom must be done playing cards now. Shall I take you home?" Throughout the drive, Lucius kept a firm hold of my hand, not bothering with the glances of doctors, nurses, or patients. Once in the car, I finally felt shy and awkwardly asked, "Did what happened earlier bother you?" Lucius seriously asked back, "What happened earlier?" My face flushed, and I fumbled, unable to form a complete sentence. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw him smiling, and I realized he was deliberately teasing me, so I got annoyed and refused to answer. The next day, I slept until morning and found that Lucius had sent a "good night" message at 2:00 a.m. He must have only just gotten some rest then. My face turned red. I felt so embarrassed. He had driven me home at almost 1:00 a.m. the previous night, and I had stood there waving like an idiot. I hadn't asked where his house was, near or far, or even said a simple, "Drive safe." My mother always said that compared to my talented cousin Hang, I was terrible at communication, completely lacking in subtlety. I'd space out all day, not knowing how to act or care for anyone. My mother was absolutely right, which is why after graduating, I avoided social relationships and stayed home, focusing on drawing comics. Luckily, my income was stable. Otherwise, my mother would have drowned me in her complaints long ago. After a while, I messaged Lucius a thank you and an apology. After all, he had driven me all the way home late at night, and I hadn't managed to say a word. Finally, I asked, "Are you working today? Are you busy?" After sending the messages, I sat at my drawing desk and started working, but my heart was restless. I couldn't concentrate. Every now and then, I'd pick up my phone, notifications from other apps constantly appearing, but no message from Lucius. It wasn't until the afternoon that he replied with a single word, "Busy." I quickly sent another message, thanking him and apologizing again, trying to ask a few more questions, then fell back into the cycle of constantly checking my phone, anxiously waiting. Finally, he replied with 2 words, "Another time." I put my phone down, feeling calmer. Thinking about his blind date comment yesterday and his attitude today, perhaps it was clear. Maybe he wasn't happy with me. My mother often said no one could tolerate my behavior. I probably wouldn't get married. I draw comics, so I need a lot of inspiration. Sometimes, when inspiration strikes, I sit for hours without moving, not even looking at my phone. Because of that, I often missed my mom's messages and would get scolded. Mom would say, "If even I can't stand you, what boyfriend could?" That's why she set me up with Lucius that day. I thought carefully. If he wasn't interested, I didn't need to cling on. I unfriended him on WeChat. I didn't expect things to happen so fast. Just 3 days after deleting him, I suffered such severe back pain that I couldn't get up. My mother had to take me to the hospital. Worried, she scheduled an appointment with the head of department. The head of department looked at me kindly, speaking on the phone while asking, "Hello, Lucius. Your girlfriend is here with me. Do you want to come over?" He then turned to me, gently tapped me, and scolded, "Such a big thing, confirming a relationship, and you're still like your mother." As I rubbed my shoulder, about to retort, the clinic door opened. Lucius, in his white lab coat, hair disheveled, tall and slender, walked straight in. "Hello, doctor." "Hello, miss." I felt his steps stop right in front of me. I bowed my head, not daring to look. The head of department smiled. "Take her behind the curtain for the examination, okay? If anything is unclear, ask me. I'll see other patients." "Oh no, this is too much. I'm going to die of embarrassment." I tugged at my mother's sleeve for help. My mother also frowned, and I felt so happy I almost cried. My mother always supported me. But the head of department turned to my mother and smiled. "I'll refund the consultation fee in a moment. We're all family, after all." And then I saw my mother beam like a blooming flower. Right. Her biological daughter was not as important as the head of department's consultation fee. Lucius chuckled softly. "Let's go." My heart felt heavy, and I struggled to pull myself up, clinging to the table. It took a lot of effort just to move a little. Lucius bent down, one hand supporting my shoulder, the other scooping my legs horizontally, lifting me like a princess. The scent of antiseptic, mixed with his pleasant aroma, made my heart pound and my legs tremble so much I couldn't breathe. He gently placed me on the examination bed and helped me lie on my side. I turned my face to the wall, determined to pretend I was dead. The curtain swooshed shut, making my heart jump. My body was stiff. Lucius's hand rested on my lower back, pressing gently twice. His voice was soft. "Relax now." His deep, warm voice poured into my heart like sweet water. I don't want to recount the examination process. I just closed my eyes, held my breath, my face as red as a chili, my heart pounding erratically. When the examination was over, my entire body felt as weak as if I had just run an 800-meter race. The head of department was still examining patients outside, so we couldn't leave right away. Lucius stood silently beside me, and the more I looked at him, the more annoyed I felt. He had been so distant before, so why was he acting so intimate now? I stared back at him, noticing his slightly messy hair, prominent dark circles under his eyes, and an overall tired appearance. Lucius gave a faint, wry smile, then squatted down to look at me. "Why did you suddenly delete me?" "Did I do something wrong? Tell me and I'll fix it." "Huh, brother, you were the one who didn't care about me before and now you're acting so profound?" He continued, "That day, there was a major traffic accident and I was extremely busy. Finally, I had a little time to rest, and then I saw that you had deleted me." Afraid I wouldn't believe him, he showed me his phone. The chat screen displayed a notification. "Sorry, there was a traffic accident today, I just ran out of time." But below it was a bright red exclamation mark indicating the message couldn't be sent. Ah, so he really was busy these past few days. The guilt of misunderstanding made me flustered, but realizing he didn't dislike me made me happier. I eagerly opened my mouth, fabricating an unconvincing excuse. "I just deleted you by accident." Lucius froze for a moment, then let out a soft chuckle. Because we were worried about disturbing the head of department working outside, we talked very closely to each other. That laugh echoed in my ears, that husky voice made my heart freeze. In this quiet space, only his gaze remained fixed on me, gentle as sunlight, and his bright smile. My heart pounded like summer thunder, my mouth dry and uncomfortable. Finally, the head of department finished his examination. Lucius reported the results, much to the head of department's satisfaction. Excellent! With you as my student, I'm sure my meals will taste better now. My mother, standing nearby, instantly brightened. Knowing Lucius had a brilliant future and that he was off duty today, she happily waved us away, giving us some private space. Only then did I remember the head of department's girlfriend comment, feeling so embarrassed I wanted to sink into the ground. Lucius changed out of his lab coat into regular clothes and then carried me to his car. I couldn't help but give him a thumbs up. Your physique is amazing, he chuckled in response. If a doctor isn't strong, how can they handle it? Sometimes surgeries last for tens of hours. He drove me home. My apartment was on a lower floor, only accessible by stairs. He carried me up 4 flights. Midway, we ran into a neighbor. Her face was full of knowing smiles. Oh my, what great stamina. Snow, your daughter is really lucky. My heart was already racing from being carried by him. Now, that comment added to my turmoil like a hazy movie playing in my head. Suddenly, Lucius looked down at me and asked, "Why is your heart beating so fast? Your face is red. Do you have a fever?" I wanted to squeak like a hamster. He was almost touching my face and asking that. The warmth on my face was enough to set my mind on fire. I stammered a confused reply. It's really hot today. He seemed to realize something, merely smiling without saying more. Once inside, he placed me on the sofa. I tried to stay calm and asked, "What did that girlfriend comment mean?" He explained that he had been too busy back at the hospital to explain. Then he looked at me with a firm gaze. "I am serious about the blind date aspect. I think you are very good and I want to date seriously with marriage in mind." My face flushed again. I stammered, I think you're very good too." Lucius sat on the rug next to the sofa, smiling gently. The weather was beautiful, the house quiet, and having him by my side filled me with contentment. I closed my eyes, waiting for something. "Are you sleepy?" he asked. "Then sleep. I'll head back first." Wait, did he really not understand what I meant? But then again, partly I didn't dare to ask him to stay, and partly, seeing him like that, he really did need rest. That evening, when my mother came home, I was sprawled on the sofa watching entertainment. She sat beside me, looking at me with a somewhat troubled expression. I couldn't be patient any longer. "Mom, just say what you need to say," my mother stammered. "Are you and Dr. Lucius really in love?" I happily replied. "Yes." My mother panicked. "I don't agree." This afternoon, I went to snoop around. I heard that Dr. Lucius almost got married before. No way, so what am I? Just a temporary option? I shot up, my back aching, and screamed, then tumbled back down. I grabbed my mother's hand, refusing to let go. "Mom, you have to tell me clearly." My mother rubbed my back and whispered, "I heard he used to have a fair-skinned, well-behaved girlfriend. They dated for about 3 or 4 years. A flood of mixed emotions surged within me. 3 or 4 years, almost getting married, they must have loved each other deeply. So why did they break up? Who knows? I heard she still comes around occasionally, trying to get back together. They just keep dragging it out, so listen to your mother and don't get involved." Worried I'd overthink, my mother added, "You've only known him for a few days. That can't compare to several years. What if they get back together? What will you do then? Sit there, hugging your pillow and crying, silently retreating?" My mother was absolutely right. They had such deep feelings for each other. I felt my heart sink into a heavy abyss. My mother then tried to cheer me up. "A 3-legged frog is hard to find, but 2-legged men are everywhere. Don't worry, seeing you like this, I guess you really will be single forever. I've already prepared to support you for life." Truly, a biological mother's words are never wrong. I thanked my mother, then sprawled on the sofa like a corpse. Lucius sent a message. "I've arrived home safely. Try to get some sleep. If anything comes up, call me. I might not be able to reply to messages quickly." He was still polite and thoughtful, but I still felt uneasy, so I immediately poured out my heart to my best friend. My friend listened, then furiously exclaimed, "Like hell, he's clearly two-timing. What a scumbag." I thought she had a point. She was seething, wanting to rush to the hospital right then. "I'll investigate and get proof for you." With my back still hurting, I just lay there, waving her off like a tragic character. On second thought, it was good. With evidence, we could deal with it decisively. Her reply came, "Why didn't you tell me he was so handsome? I think this guy is pretty good, you can totally date him." I started to suspect my friend had issues. How could she change her tune so quickly? She sent me a secretly filmed clip. In the video, an older doctor was pulling Lucius's arm, urging him to introduce his girlfriend to her. He immediately refused, saying he already had a girlfriend. The female doctor asked, "Didn't you break up half a year ago? Wasn't it her?" Before he could finish, she interrupted suspiciously. Don't tell me it's that girl from the free checkup event. She's not as good as your ex-girlfriend. The one I introduced has much better qualities. Lucius's expression suddenly grew tense, but he maintained his polite demeanor. Finding a girlfriend isn't like picking groceries at a supermarket. Making such comparisons is disrespectful. Moreover, I think my girlfriend, her name is Snow, is very good and lovely. My heart felt like it was overflowing with sugar, so sweet it was painful. The corners of my lips naturally curved upwards, I couldn't control it. My friend sent another message. This guy is pretty good, actually. When I had my checkup, I tried to get his WeChat. He totally guessed what I was trying to do. If it weren't for professional ethics, I probably would have been asked to leave right then. Wait for me, I'm coming over to talk more. My friend was beautiful, with a straightforward and strong personality. She'd never been single since school and was known for being picky, with excellent judgment about people. Her philosophy on love was that men were as plentiful as fish in the sea. If it didn't work out, break up. I remember once she dated a guy named Vic Kitty, who had some money and thought many girls would chase him. One time, drunk, he demanded she apologize for having had many past relationships. She just sneered, and when she tried to leave, he pulled her back. They argued, and tension flared. Angrily, she grabbed a beer bottle and smashed it over his head, breaking up with him right there. Afterward, he had to wear a bandaged head, bringing her food and flowers every day, begging her to get back together. Even her parents advised her that with money, one could be a little more lenient, but she firmly refused. Not long after, someone else, handsomer and richer, pursued her, and she quickly moved on to the new person, leaving the old one heartbroken. Now, as soon as she walked into my house, I stared at her. Are you possessed? She rolled her eyes. I just bought fruits and bubble tea for the nurses and extracted quite a bit of information. I heard they broke up half a year ago. They were going to take wedding photos and were preparing for their engagement, but the girlfriend suddenly changed her mind and broke up. Now she regrets it and keeps lingering around him. So, in short, that girl is pursuing him unilaterally, and they aren't both trying to hold on? I asked. She nodded. The nurses said Dr. Lucius always avoids her. If he can't avoid her, he's upfront about having moved on and advises her to move on too. I suddenly felt a little sympathetic towards that girl. Isn't he being too cold? My friend gave me a knowing look. I realized I couldn't compare myself to her and quickly praised. I misunderstood. I was just discussing someone else's situation. She said, if you love the wrong person, you need to cut ties early, as decisively as a sword. Otherwise, your youth will wither in melancholy. Then it'll be hard to escape, hurting both body and soul. I knew all that logic, but feelings were a different matter. What if Lucius still has feelings for her? My friend was blunt. No way. He's a rational person. He won't let emotions control him. Besides, he's so handsome, everyone would be jealous anyway. That comment was like a sedative, making me feel relieved. I opened my phone and reviewed Lucius's messages from the past few days. He had been checking in, showing concern, while I had only replied vaguely because of the ex-girlfriend situation. Yesterday, he had invited me to dinner, but I hadn't replied. Now I messaged him, okay, what time do you get off? I'll wait for you at the hospital. When I arrived at the hospital to pick up Lucius after his shift, I unexpectedly encountered a girl standing nearby, holding an insulated food container. She looked cute, petite, and quite feminine, the kind of person you want to protect. She was, in fact, exactly my type, and I glanced at her several times. She smiled and asked me, are you also here to see your boyfriend? That also was quite something. I smiled and nodded. She was very friendly and struck up a conversation. My boyfriend and I have been arguing lately, so I brought some food to cheer him up. I encouraged her. You're so pretty, and he dares to argue with you? He must be blind. If I were him, I'd cherish you to death. The girl giggled. No, it's not like that. Actually, I'm the only one who gets mad. He's always gentle and calm. No one is as good as him. I didn't know what else to say. Well, I hope you two get back together soon. Her eyes suddenly lit up. Lucius. I felt surprised. Huh, who? She quickly ran off. Standing before me was Lucius in his white lab coat, looking flawlessly handsome like a model in a windbreaker ad. I was stunned. I had just wished them well, and now I was facing the male lead. What was I supposed to do? Lucius raised an eyebrow, looking a little surprised. The girl looked up at him, holding out the insulated container with a sweet voice. Lucius, you must be tired after working all day. I brought you some soup. I looked at my empty hands, truly not as thoughtful as her. No need, Lucius said, walking past her and straight towards me. The girl, seemingly deeply in love, followed behind, The soup is really delicious. I used an insulated container carefully. He stopped in front of me. The girl turned back to me, asking suspiciously, "Is this lady a patient of yours?" Then she suddenly tugged his sleeve irritably. "You're working overtime and still worrying about patients. Can't you separate your work and personal life?" Lucius frowned, his voice somewhat heavy. "Please stop making a scene. Besides, I don't even like soup." I stood by, watching them talk, feeling superfluous and a little embarrassed. I recoiled, about to step back when a large hand was placed on my shoulder. Then, in an instant, I was pulled firmly into Lucius's embrace. The world spun. I crashed straight into his chest, my face flushed, my whole body stiff, my heart pounding wildly. "I already have a girlfriend. I hope you won't cause any more trouble." The girl stared at him, then at me. "Lucius, even if you found someone to pretend to be your girlfriend just to spite me, you shouldn't choose that kind. Explain yourself." Lucius's voice turned cold. "What kind? Is it your quality to casually judge others?" She stammered. I spoke out of turn. Lucius held my shoulder and walked away, not even bothering to look back. I followed him, feeling lightheaded. He was protecting me, and he called me his girlfriend. The back of my neck felt cold, as if countless eyes were staring at me. I whispered, "You didn't just get with me to use me as a shield, did you?" Lucius tilted his head to look at me, a helpless smile in his charming eyes. "Adults must take responsibility for their actions. I am not someone easily manipulated. I know exactly what I'm doing." His warm voice echoed in my ear, making my heart feel like it had been electrocuted. I tried to control my emotions, but my mind wandered. While eating, Lucius suddenly asked, "Is the food to your liking? I asked others about your favorite dishes." I paused. There were indeed dishes I loved, so this was what it felt like to be cared for. I looked up to see his eyes sparkling, his lips curving slightly as if in a smile. My heart pounded again, my hands trembling with embarrassment. "Thank you." He chuckled softly. "Taking care of my girlfriend is only natural." My face felt hot again when I heard the words, "girlfriend." Before we could finish eating, Lucius received a call from the hospital. For some reason, I secretly followed him. When I arrived, I saw the girl sitting there, clutching her insulated container, sobbing uncontrollably. She looked truly pathetic. Lucius stood in front of her, extending his hand, and my heart tightened again. This time, I didn't stay. Taking advantage of their distraction, I quietly left. Afterward, I kept wondering, why did he answer so vaguely? Why didn't he speak directly? Why did he go back to find her? For me, someone who loves drawing comics, everything needs a reason. If I applied logic to Lucius, it seemed he was avoiding things and still entangled. These thoughts plagued me, so I called my best friend to vent. My friend listened to everything, especially when I told her that day I had closed my eyes, but he hadn't kissed me, she exclaimed. "You offered yourself and he didn't even eat it. Does he have a problem? Don't talk nonsense, be civilized." She replied, "Shut your mouth." Seriously, I said I didn't know anymore. Then I mentioned the other girl, a girl who loves so sincerely, so fragile and patient who wouldn't feel sorry for her. She asked, "So what are you going to do?" I tried to suppress the longing in my heart, then decided to just let them be. "After all, I'm just like someone getting in the way, right?" She sighed on the other end. "I think Lucius is more rational than emotional, just like me." "You shouldn't back down, but if you've decided, I'll support you. There's no shortage of men. If it doesn't work out, find someone else." Having thought it through, I felt more relieved. At this time, the comic I was competing with required urgent work, and I was so busy that no one recognized who I was anymore. Meanwhile, Lucius occasionally sent a few messages, mostly about his daily life, then became busy again. More than half a month passed. My comic achieved a high ranking in the event, and I felt overjoyed. Suddenly, I received a call from Lucius's colleague. They said he was drunk at a party and asked me, his girlfriend, to pick him up. I was about to refuse, but then I heard a deep, warm voice on the other end. "Snow, it's late. Sorry to bother you. Are you working?" His voice was both soft and alluring, truly captivating. I thought this was a good opportunity to clarify everything. So I went. When I entered the private room, most people had left, with only a few remaining. I quickly found Lucius. He must have drunk a lot. His head was slumped on the table, not moving. I approached, gently patting Lucius. He slowly lifted his head, looking at me with bewildered eyes. His eyes were wet, as if he had been crying, and his gaze seemed to invite me closer. "Snow," his voice was husky and melodious, like evening dew seeping into my skin. My heart pounded erratically. Truly, his beauty was troublesome. Luckily, he was very docile when drunk, so I could help him into the car and drive him home. Once we arrived, I gave him some hangover medicine I'd bought on the way. I planned to stay for an hour, wait for him to sober up, and then talk things through clearly. His two-bedroom apartment was decorated very cozily. Every piece of furniture, every decorative detail, showed aesthetic taste and meticulousness. In my profession, I often draw characters based on their personalities, and just by looking, I knew these things weren't arranged by Lucius. They surely belonged to that girl asterisk. When they were together, they must have painstakingly built this living space, hoping for a future. I suddenly felt like an uninvited outsider, a tightness in my chest. Thankfully, Lucius had calmed down and could converse normally. He leaned against the sofa, his cheeks flushed from the alcohol, looking quite attractive. "Do you know why we had a party today?" He smiled faintly, as if recalling something joyful. I didn't have the heart to interrupt. Today, the hospital just saved a mother who gave birth to triplets in a critical condition. Both the mother and babies were in grave danger. Midway, the mother's heart stopped twice, but in the end, we still managed to save her. To achieve that, we had to mobilize a multidisciplinary team of specialists. Afterward, the family came to each department to thank us. It was then that I suddenly remembered why I chose to be a doctor. I want to save people, save many people. Life has too much suffering, and that is the most painful thing. I hope life can be a little less miserable, or at least the number of suffering people isn't too many. His voice was low and slow, and his entire being seemed to glow. I looked at him, my heart pounding with joy. Nowadays, many people say that being a doctor is just a job where you save lives in a lab coat, but once you take it off, you're just a normal person. While that's true, someone who takes on the mission of saving lives deserves respect above all else. I looked at Lucius. He smiled gently but sincerely. For the first time, we had a deeper conversation than simple questions like, "Have you eaten?" or "Have you slept?" or "The weather's nice today." For the first time, he showed me his true heart. With doctors like him, we can live with peace of mind. I smiled faintly, but then I couldn't hold back anymore. "Hey, let's break up." His face instantly stiffened. He sat up, staring at me intently. "Why? Is it because I'm too busy and neglected you? I can ask for leave." I immediately waved my hand. "No, it's not that. You're a doctor, busy saving lives, and that's the most important thing." He frowned, his tone searching. "Is it because of my ex-girlfriend?" "Exactly. You guessed right for the second time. I think if we've decided to break up, I shouldn't make things harder for you. I felt you two had a very deep love. If you broke up just out of anger, it shouldn't be. Looking at this house, one can tell she had many hopes." Lucius looked somewhat taken aback. "My mother chose the design for this house. She was too lazy, so she completely handed it over to the design team. She didn't even want to be involved." He sighed. "I broke up with her over 6 months ago. I've moved on. Now I only like you. I like you, I like you, you." My face flushed red and I stammered, "Ah, that." Lucius looked down at me, his eyes slightly moist, his voice a little aggrieved. "Or perhaps you don't like me? Was that just you teasing me that day?" I frantically waved my hands. "No, I do like you." Instantly, his eyes lit up with a gentle smile. I felt shy as he looked at me, my heart pounding, my throat dry. His face was flushed, his eyes sparkling with moisture, truly too alluring. I quickly stood up. "Ah, I'll go get you some water." Lucius seemed to understand, and his smile widened even more. He drank the water, his glossy pink lips only making me more flustered. His Adam's apple moved subtly. I suddenly remembered my friend's words about hidden ailments, and I discreetly glanced at him, observing black hair, fair skin, broad shoulders, slender waist, toned physique, long slender fingers, high nose bridge, prominent Adam's apple. Wasn't this the look of someone incredibly healthy? "What are you looking at?" His voice deepened, startling me. Lucius smiled suggestively, his eyes mischievous. "Ah, nothing, I'm just—" I trailed off, feeling lightheaded. Lucius began unbuttoning his shirt. "Does this make it clearer?" I held my breath, not knowing where to look, or rather wanting him to go faster. 1 button, 2 buttons, 3 buttons. Lucius slowly unbuttoned, his eyes still fixed on me as if to mesmerize, giving me goosebumps. Oh my God, and he dared to say he had heart problems. My heart pounded wildly and I unconsciously licked my lips. He burst out laughing and stopped. "All right, I won't tease you anymore." The sudden stop felt like cold water being splashed on me. I looked at him with an annoyed expression. Lucius suddenly pulled me forcefully. I tumbled into his arms. The warmth of his body enveloped me. My back pressed against something indescribable. I instantly felt like I was melting. His voice, deep and husky, murmured, "Wait a moment. I don't want you to do that impulsively." My face was as red as a chili. "Who said I wanted to do that? Don't accuse me wrongly." My insides churned, but only a soft MMPH escaped my lips, barely a sound. Oh my God, did that weak little MMPH really come from me? Why did it sound so feeble? Lucius held my hand and chuckled softly. I really am out of options. I give up, let's just go for it. After that, a string of sweet, intertwined memories followed, and each time I recalled them, my heart would pound and my face would flush. He looked at me seriously and said, "Promise me, don't say goodbye easily. All the troublesome things, I'll handle them myself." Just 2 days after officially dating Dr. Lucius, his ex-girlfriend invited me to meet her. Initially, I didn't want to go, but she messaged, "Afraid to meet? How laughable." I was the official one. What was there to fear? So I invited my best friend along, just to be safe. My friend sat 2 tables away, pretending not to know me. I saw that his ex-girlfriend still maintained the delicate, White Lotus persona. Did Dr. Lucius like this type? I certainly didn't. Without beating around the bush, she boldly threw a stack of photos in front of me. I couldn't help but glance at them. Lucius in the photos looked younger, full of vitality. Sometimes smiling, sometimes contemplative, his eyes in every picture showed care for the person behind the lens. She said, "We loved each other for 4 years. He once crossed 2 provinces just to see me at night. To buy me gifts, he ate only steamed buns for a whole month. To make me happy, he ran all over the city to find the exact flowers I liked." It truly was a glorious past to boast about. But was that sacrifice only from one side? I asked. So what did you do for him? She had been talking nonstop, then suddenly stopped, her face flushed. Finally, she replied, "I did a lot. I stayed in this city just for him." I nodded. "Anything else?" Seeing her frown in thought, I couldn't help but continue. "Love has to come from both sides. If only one person makes an effort, they will eventually get tired. That day, he said he didn't like soup, and that was 4 years ago. You still don't remember, do you?" She was silent at my words, then instantly flared up. "Why should I share anything with you? All you need to know is that we loved each other, he loved me. If you know what's good for you, you should back off. You're a homewrecker and still have the nerve." Her last sentence rang out clearly, making everyone around us look our way. My friend couldn't hold back anymore. She stood up and splashed a glass of water in her face. "Have you no shame? You abandoned your boyfriend for vanity, and now that the rich young master dumped you, you come back looking for your ex. Seeing that he has a girlfriend, you try to sabotage it. It's truly unlucky to encounter someone like you." She froze for a moment, then screamed in protest, "I'm not your talking nonsense, I don't know you." I looked around. Truthfully, the onlookers didn't care about right or wrong. They just thought, "Oh wow, what a drama." Everyone's attention had shifted from the other woman to the seemingly innocent but greedy girl. I pulled my friend, looking directly at the ex-girlfriend. A true ex-lover should remain silent as if they don't exist. My best friend gave a thumbs up. Damn right. Turning back, I saw Lucius frowning, striding quickly towards us. I panicked. What if he caught us just as we were mocking his ex-girlfriend? She also noticed him, instantly changing her expression and calling out to him pitifully, "Lucius!" But Lucius didn't even glance at her. He directly pulled me into his arms. "Shouldn't we save each other some face? If you continue to harass my girlfriend, I will call the police." She looked utterly devastated. So did I? Oh my God, this boyfriend's aura was so powerful. Was this what true protection felt like? My heart felt flooded with sugar, incredibly sweet. Her face flushed scarlet, furiously screaming, "Call the police. You're treating me like this because of asterisk or asterisk. Go on, call them, call them." Then she suddenly lunged towards me. Her meticulously manicured nails looked terrifying. One hit and my face would be scratched. Lucius let go of me, holding her back with just one hand. She thrashed and cursed, kicking wildly as if insane. Lucius took out his phone and called the police directly, right in front of her. When the other end picked up, she deflated like a punctured balloon, becoming utterly disheartened and silent. Afterward, the police arrived, and so did her parents. Through their apologies and scoldings, we learned that after breaking up with Lucius, she had gone on several blind dates, but the more she dated, the more she realized no one compared to him. Outside the station, Lucius called her back. "We should break up civilly. I hope you understand that our fate together has ended. There's no going back. Moreover, I now have snow." She stared at him blankly, then turned and quietly walked away. My best friend whispered in my ear, "She won't cling anymore. She's finally realized it. This time, she's really letting go." That night back home, Lucius looked at me, his bright eyes shimmering with affection. "I'm sorry for getting you involved in this," I smiled. "It's okay, I just witnessed your past a brilliant, youthful Lucius. This is your story." He was silent for a moment. "If you're unhappy because I once cared for her, then I sincerely apologize." I felt surprised. If he had to apologize for that reason, then I would be no different from my friend's ex-boyfriend, who had made her apologize just for having loved others. Before starting a relationship, every individual has the right to live their own life, as long as they have no shame. I have the right to decide whether to accept that past or not. If I can't accept it, it's best to leave, not to love and resent at the same time. I gently asked, "Could you tell me about what happened between you two?" He looked at me, saw I was serious, and slowly began to tell his story. They had met through a university event. Their two schools were very close, and both had outstanding abilities and appearances, so they were quickly attracted to each other. Like many other couples, they experienced passionate moments, doing many crazy things for love. But after graduating and starting work, the doctor's profession was very busy. He no longer had time for her, making her feel lonely. They began to argue, grow distant, then reconcile. This repeated again and again. Their feelings gradually diminished. She once cried, saying she felt insecure and wanted to get married. He began preparing for the proposal, meeting her family, but right before their wedding photo shoot, she caused a scene. She said if he didn't stop his work, she wouldn't marry him. She couldn't stand him constantly being on emergency duty, eating irregularly, having to rush off, or their dates frequently being interrupted. Lucius looked at me, calmly stating, "I couldn't abandon my profession and she couldn't accept it, so letting go was the best solution." I nodded. "My best friend was right, you truly are very rational." Lucius suddenly gave an awkward smile, as if afraid I might be offended. "Actually, the initial reason I agreed to get to know you wasn't just because you're cute, but also because I heard from Auntie that you're still single, often eat alone, go out alone, watch movies alone, and spend all day just drawing comics. But I think someone who loves what they pursue and dares to work hard for it, even with just a little courage, is very bright and admirable. That's why I felt we could be compatible. I often thought that love needed specific reasons. And I love Lucius, perhaps because of his appearance, his personality, and because he chose the mission of helping others. At this moment, I realized my heart could be so deeply moved. I like you, and I like you even when you shine in your work." Lucius looked overjoyed. "So, when shall we get married?" The topic shifted so quickly I couldn't keep up. "Wait, let me digest this first." I went to the hospital to wait for Lucius. As I was bored, scrolling on my phone, I suddenly saw chaos ahead, hospital beds being rushed through. Doctors and nurses shouted loudly, move aside, emergency!" The clatter of rolling wheels and the urgent clang of metal bed frames echoed. Patients lay on the beds, some conscious, some unconscious, but all covered in red blood. Suddenly, I saw Lucius rush past me. He knelt beside a patient's bed, performing CPR with utmost effort, his face serious and absolutely focused, beads of sweat on his forehead. It was unclear if it was from rushing or exhaustion. His white lab coat was caught by the wind, fluttering like wings along with those of the other nurses and doctors. In that moment, those white patches truly looked like angel wings. A powerful, indescribable emotion surged within me. There was only one thought: this man is an angel. I waited for Lucius for a very long time, perhaps 4 or 5 hours, or even 6 or 7. When he finally appeared, he looked utterly exhausted but still managed to give me a smile. "Snow, I'm sorry for making you wait so long." I intended to say, "It's okay," but what came out instead was, "Let's get married." Lucius looked at me in surprise. "Why so sudden? Why?" "Because I realized I'm different from your ex-girlfriend. I can not only accept your busyness, your sudden emergencies, and your frequent absences, but I'm proud of it." I smiled softly, gently touching his tired face. "Because I love you." Lucius stared blankly for a few seconds, his eyes like a gentle lake that could drown me. He hugged me tightly. "I love you too. Let's get married right away." Epilogue 1. Dr. Lucius, my love, I haven't finished fixing the toilet yet, but an emergency came up. Please use the neighbor's bathroom for now. I'll fix it later. Snow, what are you talking about? A plumber only costs $50K. Epilogue 2. Dr. Lucius, my love, we're out of rice. Can you go to your mom's to eat for now? I'll buy some when I'm done. I can't carry it. Snow, did you forget we live in an apartment building with an elevator? And there's a cart too. What do you mean you can't carry it? Dr. Lucius, I feel so useless. Epilogue 3. Dr. Lucius, darling, I came home early today. Why aren't you here? Snow, oh, I went to the neighboring city for a comic fair and forgot to tell you. Dr. Lucius, but I miss you every day. You're drawing and I've been on duty for a week. We haven't, you know. Snow, sweetie, I'll be back right after tomorrow. Kisses him on the phone, then hangs up and continues excitedly fangirling at the fair. Ah, husband, Quan Hai is so handsome, I love you. Before she could finish shouting, she noticed everyone looking behind her. She turned around to see Lucius in casual clothes, his face as dark as the bottom of a pot, standing there. He narrowed his eyes and gritted his teeth. Love who? Snow quickly grabbed his arm. Love you, only you. Lucius's aura seemed to warn others to stay away. Then let's go, my dear wife. Snow understood perfectly the emphasis he put on each word of my dear wife, knowing that tonight she wouldn't escape a makeup session. Despite her legs feeling like jelly, she obediently followed him, muttering to herself, my friend said he had issues. What issues? As long as it's not the forest, the balcony, or the living room, it's all good. Afterwards, Lucius gazed at Snow's sleeping face, his heart overflowing with emotion. He didn't really understand what his mother-in-law meant by her independent nature, but it was a good thing. With his busy job, he couldn't always be there to take care of her. Luckily, she lived her life very well, which put his mind at ease. Lucius felt that he truly loved Snow. He loved her because she had ideals, because she shone brightly.